Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome out to University of Texas Arlington Maverick Stadium as we get set for an exciting matchup between USA and Canada in national football. All of these kids out here today representing their countries as best they can. We just saw the American U16 team come up with a huge 48-0 victory over Canada, and now the U16 team will try to do the exact same thing. I'm joined by Lincoln Rose. I'm Sean Lerman, Derek Raymond, our camera operator, Tom Monfiletto, our media extraordinaire today. So let's take a look at our starting lineups for today's game. Your starting quarterback is going to be Kenny Pickett for the United States. Your halfback, Emilio Martinez, so definitely take a look at him. The wide receivers, a couple guys that are very dangerous, Dominic Harper and Jonathan Garola. And then on that offensive line, Maxim Moore and Aaron Moore. Both of those guys outstanding guys to look out for, making big blocks all day. On the defensive side of the ball, Nico Afumango, an outstanding player, really good defensive tackle. Alex King, you're going to see him in a couple of different places along the defensive line, but he'll start out at the defensive end position. DJ Brown in the secondary, and Keontae Mack. Look for both of those guys to create a lot of pressure, both by blitzing and making some stops against the run, but also look for them to maybe get themselves a couple of interceptions in this one. And Lincoln, we just saw the U15 team have a big win. Now, what do you think we're going to see here with this U16 squad?
Well, Sean, of course, this is the International Bowl, all about continuing to grow the American football game. We saw a new format implemented this year by USA Football. You know, in the past several seasons in Central Texas, including last year in Round Rock just outside of Austin, the International Bowl was one game on National Signing Day featuring the United States national team, the U19s, against a world team, a collective squad from players from all over the globe, including players from Canada. But when you talk about American football, the only two nations that have early on here won world championships, the United States and Canada. I like the format here over these next 2 days, 6 games. It'll all culminate tomorrow night. The U18s will wrap up tomorrow night's action. The U19s will actually wrap up tonight. We'll see which nation can ultimately prevail. You mentioned moments ago, you and Tom saw a great one on behalf of the United States. For those of you who had a chance to tune into the Jamboree, a lot of fun. You got to introduce and meet a lot of the players for both nations. But this is the first time they actually go out there and they play on a full-size field. And getting to play for the pride of the letters across their chest. Hunter
Reed's kick is not very deep, but Canada not able to do much with it as the United States able to come up and make the stop just past the 30-yard line, and it'll be Canada's ball for the first time today. It was the quarterback for Canada is going to be Jordy Belfiore as he'll make his way into the game.
You'll notice the Canadian squad. This is actually a group out of Ontario. It's not a Canadian national team, but you notice they're different helmets. The young men are wearing the helmets of their respective clubs up north of the border, while all 6 teams you'll see for the United States over these next 2 days are actual national teams on behalf of the USA.
The USA will wear their white jerseys in today's game, the white helmets, looking very spiffy, if you ask me. Belfiore getting set in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers to his left to start this one. And Belfiore will take it himself up the middle, and he's got some room to run, but taken down right at about the 45-yard line. Stop made by Jack McKenna.
This defensive unit, the front 7 particularly for the United States, has a lot to live up to after what we saw from the U15 squad a little bit earlier. A very cohesive unit. You can understand if an offensive group is going to struggle, especially in the passing game, only having 1 week to work with one another. I'm surprised we didn't see more quarterback and center exchange issues in that first ball game.
Belfiore working under center now. Man in motion, and he'll hand it off to the back, and a big hit. The carry that time by Dylan Minocha.
Yeah, for the United States there, nothing complicated. That's just win your battle one-on-one. You saw the 3 white shirts come flying in, swarming to the football, and it sets up a less than desirable 3rd down situation here for Canada.
Third down, 4 yards to go. Manageable, but certainly not something you like to see on your first drive of the game. Belfiore with 3 wideouts to his right, 1 to his left in the shotgun with 1 man in the backfield. Takes the snap, and he's looking downfield. Has a man open right around the first down marker. And across midfield for a first down, it's Christopher Andrews who picks up the first and gets across into United States territory.
Yeah, Andrews proudly wearing the cap of his home club, the Vancouver College Fighting Irish. And give that young man credit. Ran around the distance needed for a first down. Now, we'll see the penalty yardage assessed afterwards. Would have been a first down regardless. But Canada is not only working its way into the United States territory, but that foul will continue to move those sticks even farther downfield.
Daniel Anderson made his way from the defensive line to come up and make the stop on that one and make sure that Canada didn't get more than it should. But as it is, Canada will have the ball pretty deep inside U.S. territory here on the 29-yard line. Belfiore working again from the shotgun. He's done quite a bit of that thus far on the first drive. And it's a handoff up the middle, and just about everybody on the United States defense in on the stop.
Yeah, 3-yard loss for the Canadians. You know, we noted a moment ago the success through the air, and perhaps that shouldn't be of any surprise for the folks familiar with this squad from British Columbia, and that's the fact that the quarterback, Belfiore, is also from that same Fighting Irish squad out of Vancouver College, as several of his teammates on this team.
We check out the replay here. Daniel Anderson comes up and makes the big stop in the backfield, a loss of 4, bringing up 2nd and 14 here with just about 9 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the first quarter of action in this U.S. versus Canada matchup. Belfiore fakes the handoff and rolls to his right. He's got some time, and he'll throw this one away, although it's almost intercepted as it's almost picked off by D.J. Brown, the stud defensive back out of Landmark Christian School in College Park, Georgia.
Yeah, Brown with some nice size out there as a defensive back in the secondary at 5'10". And he probably wishes that they were playing on a Canadian regulation field.
Yeah.
He would have had just enough space perhaps to haul that one in.
Although I'm sure Belfiore wouldn't mind playing on a Canadian field either, as he's probably a little more used to having some extra room to roll to his right. And maybe had that sideline come up a little too quickly on him there. Belfiore in the gun once again. 4 wide receivers, trips to the left.
Yeah, Canada will have to make a tough decision if they can't convert here on 3rd down.
Going deep and caught! That's going to be a touchdown for Canada. Tyler Moxon hauls it in.
Yeah, all of a sudden, forget the decision you would have to make on 4th down. Canada strikes first. A good-looking drive here for this U15 team against the U16 Americans. And capped off with the perfect pitch and catch.
So Canada strikes first on their first drive of the game, up 6-0, pending the extra point here with 9:23 to go in the first quarter of action. And Anthony Crescenzo set to kick the field goal for Canada, it seems.
Yeah, special teams for national teams, sometimes when you don't have a lot of time to work with one another, this can be where an issue can arise. The officials are a little bit more lenient. Now we'll start the play clock as it just starts to tick down.
Adam Turin actually in to attempt this kick out of the hold of Crescenzo. That'll split the uprights good, and Canada has a 7-0 lead. So this game starts very differently than did the U15 game, in which the United States jumped out to an early lead that it would never relinquish. And just a reminder, today's game brought to you by Riddell. Protect and perform. And also, today's game brought to you by Sports Authority. All things sporting good, and Shock Doctor Sports, the leader in mouth guard technology.
You're going to see both teams try to minimize areas where there'd be a decent chance of a mistake, miscommunication by virtue of not having much time to work together. That time, we saw Crescenzo, as you noted, on the hold for the kicker. Their teammates back up across the border for the Notre Dame Jugglers. Now, I don't know if most people want their holder to play for a team called the Jugglers, but it paid off that time. Canada, again, great start. 1 possession, 7 points to show for it. Puts the pressure on the United States here, and this is an element of the game that we did not get to feature during the Jamboree exhibition matchups. back on Wednesday over at nearby home of the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium. Special teams factoring in here today.
Yeah, absolutely. As Jonathan Garola on the far side of the field getting set to return this kick, and also back with him Emilio Martinez, a projected Division I prospect himself, set to return on your near side of the field.
Martinez had a couple of scores against Canada in that jamboree on Wednesday. They are not going to give Martinez a chance.
Adam Turin's kick goes to that front set of the kick return team for the United States, and returning it is going to be Santino Marchiol.
Yeah, Marchiol, linebacker, obviously the 6'2", 210-pounder is not going to get a ton of opportunities to return a football. You see some young men just take a knee to preserve the possession, but he was looking for some contact.
Well, it's hard to blame him. I mean, a lot of guys, if I was out there and I didn't get to carry the ball a lot, comes my way, I'm taking off. So I give Marchiol all the credit in the world, and I say, go for it, young buck.
You guys can't see Sean on the broadcast. He's about 6'5", 225 pounds.
Yeah, no, I think you got the 6 and the 5 backwards there.
My conversion from metric to, you're right, feet and inches was a little off.
So Pickett's first time in there today, and he's going to hand it off. The carry is going to be Emilio Martinez, and he's going to get out across midfield to the 46-yard line. A nice run to start things off for Martinez as he picks up 6.
The U16 group was the first group that you and I saw over there at AT&T Stadium. Again, we're in Arlington, Texas, about halfway between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's the home of the Dallas Cowboys, the Texas Rangers. We're on the campus of the University of Texas at Arlington. What's interesting to note is while we are playing on UTA's football field, they haven't had a football team since 1985. Primarily high school football games on Friday nights take place under these lights.
And this field renovated just about 5 years ago, all new turf, and it's certainly a beautiful place to play as the carry that time by Jacob Miller. Tyler Corman, rather.
Yeah, the stop on that play finally made by Conkalongo, the Terry Fox Raven back home. As Jeremy Conkalongo able to put an end to that run, but not until the first down was already gained.
Just about 8 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Canada with a 7-0 lead over the United States, but the U.S. now with the ball for the first time today. Kenny Pickett in the shotgun takes the snap, and it's a handoff up the middle and a lot of running room before being brought down at the 22-yard line. Emilio Martinez with another solid run and a first down for the U.S.
And I think the United States believes this is an area where they can find constant success. Winning that battle with your offensive linemen will try to give those big men as much credit as possible throughout the ball game, but I think a lot of running backs would love to run through holes like that one.
Yeah, and a nice cut there by Martinez. Looked like he could have been brought down right around the 25-yard line, but made a good cut, picked up a few extra yards, and got himself the first down.
A smart running back taking what was given to him instead of trying to look to make the exceptional play.
Pickett with a man in motion, hands it off, and it's Denzel Brown with the carry as he'll get out of bounds just past the 20-yard line, a gain of about 4.
And I know you were looking forward to seeing Brown among several of his teammates in this ball game here today.
Denzel Brown, we talked about him a little bit in our last broadcast. When you watch the film on this kid, it's absolutely incredible as we take a look at some of the highlights right now. And watch, it looks like he's brought down in the backfield, and then he is gone. And it's like everybody else is running in slow motion when Brown carries the ball. There he is again, going right up the middle, but then he cuts it out to the outside, and defenders falling at his heels as he busts it for 70-plus yards on that one. Some contact at the end, but still gets a touchdown.
See if they air it out here on 2nd and 7.
They will. Kenny Pickett across the middle of the field, incomplete, looking for Brown. Just past his outstretched arms, but Pickett really fired it in there.
Yeah, Pickett stood in there and took a pop. And that was laid on him, I believe, by Matteo Trigiano, if I see the number correctly down there, but really laid a lick right on the USA across the chest of the American quarterback.
Pickett makes his way into the huddle from his sideline and He'll work from the shotgun once again. Emilio Martinez, the back. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. Handoff up the middle, but the play will get blown dead, and that's a shame because the United States was about to score a touchdown.
The United States instead will find itself with a longer distance to go. Moving backwards 5 yards.
3rd and long now, certainly a little tougher as we have a timeout called by the United States and stop the clock here with 6:54 to go in the first quarter.
Head coach of this U16 national team for the United States of America is Tyree Spinner. He is at the helm of Wooten High School's football program up in Maryland, along with his brother, who is actually on his staff here today. We're about to figure out by this next play call whether he would go for it on 4th down or whether they would settle for a field goal try. In all likelihood, if they're going to try to pick it up, they'll do it through the air. If we see them keep it on the ground, they might consider going for it on 4th down as well.
Yeah, you know, the U15 team really was aggressive with going forward on 4th down, so we'll see what they do here. And the USA Football Alumni Spotlight is brought to you by Upper Deck. Collect the best. You know, since 2009, Lincoln, 8 former Team USA players have gone on to play in the NFL, including New York Giants running back David Wilson, Cardinals defensive back Tyrann Mathieu, and Patriots wide receiver Aaron Dobson. We have our list there, and a big alumni spotlight here. The most recent notable Team USA alumni includes Heisman Trophy and National Championship Game MVP Jameis Winston of Florida State, Georgia running back Todd Gurley, and Stanford signal caller Kevin Hogan. Congratulations from Upper Deck to all former Team USA players making a name for themselves at the next level. Back to the action here. Pickett on the reverse, and it's going to get picked up that time by Martinez, who has nowhere to go, and it's a loss of a couple yards. It was actually Anthony Sees getting his first carry of the day that time on the botched handoff.
Yeah, Sees out of Kingsway High in Mickleton, New Jersey. Never really had a chance. To his credit, got as much of that yardage back to get them within field goal range if they wanted to try for the 3, trailing to Canada right now by a touchdown. But it looks as though they will try to pick up the 15 yards needed.
And it would be a long field goal here, and even if you were to turn it over, even if Team USA does turn the ball over here on downs, it's still not the best field position for Team Canada.
It would be a 44-yard field goal try.
Pickett in the gun. Takes the snap, and he's looking downfield. And it's a screen play, but it's not hauled in by Emilio Martinez.
And that's the exact start that Canada wanted. They get points on their first drive on offense, and you can see the enthusiasm as the defense rushes off the field to the near sideline and welcomes the offense back on.
Just about 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Canada gets the ball back with a 7-0 lead. Canada moving left to right on your screen. Now that screen may be on YouTube. It may be on ESPN and ESPN3, the Watch ESPN app, as we're broadcasting live on ESPN today. Under center for Canada, Belfiore once again. He's going to hand it off on the left side of the field, but just about no gain as the USA defense able to swarm the ball carrier. It's Andrew Lackey who's making the stop for USA there.
Yeah, again, the reason why Canada has this 7-0 lead right now was a great 3rd down pass by Belfiore, the quarterback. Picking up not just the first down, but 6 points as well. Just 12-minute quarters here at the international level, and so time flies.
Andrew Lackey, the 6'1", 222-pound linebacker, making that stop. Belfiore in the gun. Takes the snap, and he'll run it himself up the middle, and USA gets a hand on him at the line of scrimmage. Gets just about to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Nico Afumango makes the stop. Belfiore's run the ball a couple of times so far, but hasn't really gotten too much out of it, Lincoln. And it'll be interesting to see if he can pass the ball a little more as the game goes on.
Yeah, the success so far for Canada, and mind you, of course, it is early, just halfway through this opening quarter, but the success has not come right up the gut against this front line of the United States. It's been when the quarterback has been able to extend plays, rolling to his left and rolling to his right.
Belfiore under center. 2 wideouts to his right, a pretty tight formation. Takes the snap, and he's looking downfield to his right. Has a man open, and it's caught by Tyler Moxon, who had the touchdown earlier. Picks up the first down.
The pass was completed to Tyler Moxon.
Joe Zakari makes the stop.
Yeah, Moxon back home, plays for the North Delta Longhorns. It's a familiar mascot in these parts. That's a long trek for the Longhorn to get from the Lone Star State here in Texas, presumably needing a passport and then crossing the border.
Should be noted, this game being played under American football rules, very similar to your NCAA rules.
Yeah, all under IFAF, the International Federation of American Football. It's grown to in excess of 60 nations across the world these days. A sport that just continues to grow in popularity and accessibility.
Belfiore under center is going to pitch it to Dylan Minosha, who's got some room and gets to the edge, but no, he's brought down. A very short game as Keontae Mack, the big defensive back, comes up and makes the stop.
Well, they tried to stretch it out. United States showing some of their speed there, able to get to the corner in time.
As we check out the replay, Keontae Mack coming all the way down from really far away and laying a big hit that time.
Canada began with this football on the 27-yard line after the United States turned it over on downs. Trying to get across midfield for the second time, and either way we're going to have a stop-and play. United States will contend that Canada moved on the line.
That was Alex King, who, if it was USA, moved, but he's the one calling to say that Canada moved.
Yeah, offsides, and they blow it dead because of the contact. No free play for Canada.
Second and short, a dream scenario for just about any offensive coordinator. So you can really open up the entire playbook here.
Yeah, they've tested that middle of the defensive line a couple times to no success against the United States, but we'll see if they give it another crack right here.
Alex Akpata, the deep back. Belfiore under center. Belfiore takes a snap and gives it to Akpata up the middle, and he's going to be close to a first down, but it looks like he'll just be a bit short, and Canada will have to try it again on third down.
Yeah, it'll be third and a full 1 here. 3 feet to go after picking up a yard on that last carry.
Daniel Anderson came up and made the stop. Anderson's got himself a few tackles already. The big fella up on the defensive front.
Well, if Canada can continue throughout this ballgame with a lead, they'll need to be able to run the football to preserve that advantage. And right now, you see just time melting off the clock, already 10 minutes having elapsed in this opening quarter.
Belfiore under center once again. 2 wideouts to his right, Akpata the back. And Belfiore's going to pick up the first down on the QB keeper. Hunter Young came up to make the stop, but not before Belfiore crossed the line and got himself a first down.
Yeah, and Young's a familiar name in these parts. Southlake Carroll is not too far from this area in the Metroplex, as he lists Fort Worth as his hometown, but the Southlake Carroll Dragons, a football powerhouse over the years here in the state of Texas, including producing some NFL players like Chase Daniel, the former Missouri Tiger quarterback.
Some nice Southlake knowledge, Lincoln. Belfiore in the gun this time. 3 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left, Akpata the back. Ball snapped and some pressure in his face, airing it out down the left sideline. Got it. And that's a reception made. Taylor Knoll is able to haul that one in.
Yeah, the United States is certainly seeing that Canada's quarterback again, Belfiore, can put a nice touch on the ball, has all the arm he needs, and that time just drops it right in on the receiver, who really at that point the receiver's job is just not to drop it after such a great effort on the quarterback's behalf.
Under a minute now as time ticks down in the first quarter. Canada with a 7-0 lead, threatening to extend that here as they're inside the red zone. Belfiore working from the gun once again with 3 wideouts to his right and Akpata in the backfield. They'll give it to Akpata, who's dragged down behind the line of scrimmage. Big stop that time. Santino Marchiol comes up and makes the play.
Canada hoping that that last first down pass downfield was going to back off the secondary, and it did in part, but able to get back to that line to make the contact behind the line of scrimmage and not allow any cheap yardage.
Look at that in the replay here. As soon as Akpata got the ball, a number of USA defenders were already past the line of scrimmage. That'll bring us to the end of the first quarter here as the time ticks down to 0. There'll be no more plays in the first quarter. And at the end of one, Canada leading it 7-0 over the United States. And they're in the red zone once again. The story that quarter was absolutely the arm of Belfiore, who had a couple of really nice throws down either sideline.
Yeah, that included a great third down conversion to help get them their lone score thus far.
Are you interested in trying out for the U.S. national team and spending 2 days receiving coaching and instruction by current NCAA college football coaches? I don't know why you wouldn't be. Well, come out to one of USA Football's regional development camps, making stops in 17 cities this spring. For more information, call the national team's office at 609-662-4495 or visit usafootball.com and click on the national teams tab as we take a look at our camps here, wrapping it up in Denver, Colorado, and Seattle, Washington, are 2 teams that played in the most recent Super Bowl. So most likely a lot of football fans out there, maybe a few more in Seattle and a few less in Denver after the results of that Super Bowl.
They've already played that game?
I think they have. But this is the big game today as USA taking on Canada, and another big game tonight as the under-19 squads, the U16 team for the United States with a ton of top-tier talent going off to play at the biggest colleges at the next level, will take the field against Canada's best squad tonight. We'll switch sides of the field here for the start of the second quarter. Belfiore in the gun, a hard snap count, movement up front. Not sure who this is on, but it looks like it might be against the United States once again. But no, we'll back them up. False start on the offense. Braden Gatlin moved early.
I don't think Braden was alone.
No, a lot of movement that time.
A couple members of the Canada line. And again, we refer to them to Canada out of convenience. It is a squad from British Columbia. Not an actual national team. We'll see the national teams tonight, the U19s, and tomorrow the U18s from Canada.
Belfiore in the gun, standing at the 30-yard line. Takes the snap, looking to his left downfield, and has a man on the slant who does not haul it in. Referee signals no catch. It was intended that time for Dylan Minosha. The stop made by Isaac Larson.
Yeah, for the United States, that was a 2nd and 20 play that you're defending, and you're okay with a completion underneath. You just don't want to let anything get behind you. In that case, best of all worlds. Incomplete pass, and now 3rd and 20. They can still pick up a first down, can Canada, if they can move this ball inside the 5.
And with the way they've passed the ball so far, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Belfiore will work from under center this time. Dropping back, a 3-step drop, and airing it out towards nobody except for the United States. It goes out of bounds, knocking down our Marriott sign. The Marriott, the official hotel partner of USA Football.
Yeah, that was a flag pattern for Tyler Moxon. It was really designed where either Tyler could catch it or nobody could catch it. To prevent any kind of turnover, it sets up 4th and 20, but it's an issue when you have 2nd and 20 of whether your line can give you the time and the protection to allow your receivers to run the necessary routes. They did, credit to Canada, but in the end, great coverage by the United States.
And it looks like Canada will go for it here on 4th down. It might look like we had a timeout called on the field.
Yeah, it would be a 42-yard field goal try to give Canada a 2-score advantage. But as you noted, prior to that timeout, Canada had its offense out there. We'll see if they make a change after having a chance to think it over.
Portions of today's games brought to you by Marriott, the official hotel partner and VIP hospitality sponsor of USA Football and the U.S. National Football Team. Special thanks to Marriott for their support of USA Football and the national team program as we get our sign all fixed up over there. Marriott doing a great job for us here at Strive as we have been staying at the Marriott in Dallas-Fort Worth for the last few days, and it's been exceedingly comfortable. So a long field goal attempt here, a 42-yarder.
Yeah, Adam Turin will be attempting what is right at a 42-yard try.
And it'll be a little short, but long enough to be returned. It's going to be Keontae Mack taking it back, and Mack with a couple of cuts gets out to the 15, so it would have been better off just letting that one go, as they would have gotten the ball on the 32-yard line if they had done so. But you have to give Mack credit for the confidence in trying to make a big play.
Yeah, a failed field goal would have come back to the line of scrimmage at the amateur level. You saw most notably a return on a missed field goal in the Auburn-Alabama Iron Bowl game at the collegiate level this past year. That helped Auburn ultimately advance on to a national championship game. Of course, you can return a missed field goal that stays in the field of play and does not contact the uprights.
As it stands, we'll have a new quarterback as Dante Sparaco comes in, and he'll take over with the U.S. offense from the 15-yard line.
And Sparaco certainly impressed quite a few folks back on Wednesday night in the Jamboree.
A handoff to Emilio Martinez up the middle to start this one off, and a big run up the middle as he gets the first down. Correction, that was Denzel Brown on the carry. Denzel Brown, just an outstanding athlete.
Yeah, Brown, like everybody on this roster, played his freshman year of high school this past fall. Looking forward to his sophomore campaign next season at McKinley Tech up in Washington, D.C. Canada late to get an 11th man on the field, and they're going to call a timeout.
Canada burns its second timeout here in the first half with 11 minutes or so to go here in the second quarter of play.
And I know you saw some of that in the U15 game, especially late in the ball game when they wanted to get in some other units for experience out there on the field. Sometimes when you're making personnel changes, and this is a team that's only been working together for about a week now, not everybody knows what their assignment would be in such an adjustment. Canada burns the timeout rather than giving what could very well be a big play away to the United States with one of their receivers left unmarked.
Today's game brought to you by St. Vincent Sports Performance, defining sports performance, and Stubbs Legendary Barbecue Sauce, made right with all natural gluten-free ingredients. I love that Stubbs sauce. That is so tasty. It is just about as good as it gets. As we get back to the action here, Sparaco takes the snap, and it's going to be a fumbled handoff to Brown. The ball will bounce out of bounds. USA will maintain possession, but that play certainly did not go the way the United States had hoped.
And the United States will now have the ball on the line where it went out of bounds. So this moves it for about a 10-yard loss back to the 19, and it'll be a 9-yard loss when it's all said and done, marked off. But the United States fortunate that that ball did go out of bounds. It was not recovered by Canada.
11 minutes to go in the first half. The USA trailing Canada 7-0.
Point out this is just now the second offensive possession for the United States as we're in the midst of the second quarter.
Sparaco will throw this one towards the sideline on a screen, and it's going to be incomplete. It was ruled as not a catch and a fumble, but incomplete, so USA will hold on to the ball. Dominic Harper, the intended target that time.
Yeah, Harper, a 5'8" target out there from the state of California. A lot of Californians on this U16 team. Able to excel at the various camps. And certainly an uphill battle here for the United States on 3rd and 19.
Sparacco in the gun, takes the snap, and looking downfield, a screen play to Denzel Brown, who's got some room to run. Brown across the 40, and he has some contact at the 50, breaks a tackle across the 45, and a big play, Denzel Brown.
On 3rd and 19, you'll often hear fans screaming at their televisions, why are you running a route that is short of the line needed? But sometimes when you have a player like Brown, a quarterback has faith that the blocks can line up, and why not throw the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and let Brown rumble for the yardage and then some?
And as we take a look at the replay here, Denzel Brown just throwing the defender off of him. Anthony Crescenzo tried to make the stop, and Denzel Brown was having none of it. It'll be a first down for the United States as they cross over into the territory.
And Crescenzo, one of the two-way players for this Canada squad.
Emilio Martinez gets the carry this time across the 40-yard line, picks up a few yards.
So this drive already an improvement for the United States on their first drive that did not lead to points in terms of penetration into Canada's end of the field. The United States hoping to come away with an even score up there on the board by the end of this one.
Sparacco in the gun here. Martinez the back. He'll take the snap, and it's a screen play to the right, and the catch is made by Eric Gallman. Gallman is going to get himself a first down as he gets to the 30-yard line. And the USA now rolling a bit on this drive. Last couple plays have all been positive ones.
Yeah, Gallman comes from a school that has found itself with several players throughout these national team rosters. Talking about Southlake Christian over there in North Carolina. Gallman out of Huntersville.
Sparacco in the pistol this time, and Brown is the back. They'll pitch it to Brown, and Brown with some room in front of him again cuts it up the field and breaks a couple more tackles across the 20-yard line into the red zone. Finally brought down by Anthony Crescenzo, but Denzel Brown is running the ball extremely well so far on this drive.
Can we tentatively call him first down, Denzel Brown?
I like it. I like it.
Doesn't matter if you need 19. Doesn't matter if you need 3.
Brown will remain in the game as the tailback. Snap to Sparacco, and they'll give it to Brown again. Brown with a couple of moves and gets himself back out to the line of scrimmage before being brought down by Carson Vos. Just about 8.5 minutes to go here in the first half.
Yeah, United States in the red zone, and they're going to need to come away with points, clearly. Master of the obvious, of course, there, but trailing by 7. You want to come away with 7 points. You always want to have some points in the red zone, and this will be a test. Canada, not as much field to defend behind them. We'll see if they're able to clamp down.
2nd down and 10. Sparacco in the pistol again. Low snap, but he handles it, and he'll roll to his right with a lot of pressure in his face. Escapes it across the 20. He'll run it himself and get down to the 10. Fumbled out of bounds, but Sparacco able to turn a potential sack into a really decent pickup before being brought down by Adam Turin.
It's going to set up 3rd down and 4 for the United States offense. Again, this USA's 2nd possession of the ball game in this U16 contest, our 2nd game of the day.
3rd and 4 here. Sparacco makes his way into the huddle with the play. Denzel Brown the back. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. They'll give it to Brown, and Brown with room to run on the left cuts it back up the middle, and he's going to be close to a first down. Looks like they'll give it to him, and it should be 1st and goal for the United States, and the referee, there he is, signaling first down.
So the United States will have presumably 4 tries at this if needed to punch it in. They've found success on the ground. Again, credit those big men up front for USA. Nothing fancy on those runs by Brown.
First and goal to go from the 7. Denzel Brown will remain in the game as the back. Sparacco, the quarterback, takes the snap and gives it to Brown. Brown with a couple of cuts up the middle, and he's going to fumble, and it looks like Team Canada is going to have control of this one.
Yeah, again, we're talking about in the red zone. It's when you must come away with points, and part of that is protecting the football. A running back's eyes can get a little bit big sometimes when they want the glory of that touchdown. They want to fight for that extra yardage, but in reality, you just need to be able to go down and live to see the next down.
Anthony Crescenzo recovered the fumble for Canada, and the Canada sideline erupted in cheers, and that's really a tough one for the United States as we take a look at the replay. Brown with a couple of really nice cuts, but then coming in to force the fumble is Corey Fletcher, who's able to punch it out, and then Crescenzo comes up with the recovery.
Fletcher plays for the Red Dogs up north. And I'm sure they've seen him a few times excel out there forcing turnovers. There is a Canadian player that was slow to get up. Good to see that Carlo DeCosta is able to walk off the field. He's one of those Notre Dame jugglers we were talking about. Several teammates together on this squad.
7 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the first half. Canada with a 7-0 lead and the ball moving right to left on your screen. And it's going to be a direct snap to the running back.
Yeah, and right there you saw Daniel Anderson almost be on the exact same signal as the offense, getting the play call. He out of Escondido, California, but great penetration. This is where the United States defense, as well as they have played, they're going to need to try to take over the ball game right here and give the United States offense a short field to work with. Of course, we saw 2 defensive scores back in that U16 game.
New quarterback into the game is Keegan Vickland for Team Canada. Vickland takes the snap and hands it off up the middle. Not a huge gain, as Daniel Anderson was in there among others on the stop, and we'll take a look at his highlights right here. There he is, the big fella up front, just fighting through the line as he does on just about every play, making plays in the backfield, and with some speed as well that he can get to the edge, get downfield, as we see him that time getting involved in a play on that's heading towards the sideline, and he heads it off. A really smart, heady player, and a really, really outstanding young man, Daniel Anderson.
Chance here on 3rd down for, again, this defense for USA to force Canada to give this ball back to the offense of the red, white, and blue.
Snap to Vickland. Vickland fakes the throw, and he's going to get sacked, although if it's a designed run, then it's just a stop behind the line of scrimmage. Either way, a tackle for a loss that time made by Alex King.
Now 2 straight stops by the United States on defense after allowing Canada to score on its opening drive. So the offense for the United States should have good field position, and that's one of the reasons why we see 2 men back. They want to make sure, does the United States, that they can get a return and that this ball doesn't get over the heads of both return men. Well, it's not going to have a chance.
No, it's certainly not going over anybody's heads, as the U.S. will have really nice field position here and plenty of time to work with it, with still over 5 minutes to go in the first half. And they'll get the ball at the 35-yard line.
So Canada's Corey Fletcher will have to come back out on the field with the defense after forcing that fumble moments ago. The offense for Canada moved backwards a yard, advanced a yard, and then lost a yard again on 3 plays against that USA defense. It's just getting stronger and stronger as the game goes on.
Today's game brought to you by St. Vincent Sports Performance, defining sports performance, as well as Stubbs Legendary Barbecue Sauce, made right with all natural gluten-free ingredients, and Marriott, the official hotel partner of USA Football. Kenny Pickett back in as the quarterback for USA, and he'll hand it off to Emilio Martinez. Martinez slips a tackler and makes his way towards the first down marker. He'll come up just a little short before being brought down by Cole Theobald after a gain of 8.
Martinez, one of the freshmen from California, out of Salinas. Nice 5'9" running back, and we've seen running backs all sizes excel at the various levels. Some of the best register right around 5'9" that we've seen in the NFL.
Including one who played just about a couple miles away from us right here. That's Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, not too far away when he played at Texas Stadium over in Irving.
Handoff, and around the right side, Emilio Martinez barely dragged down by his ankles. Adam Turin makes the stop, and if he hadn't, Martinez would have been off to the races. As it is, though, still a first down and a good pickup by Martinez.
Well, you imagine this offense for USA spent time on that last defensive possession over there on the bench together to make sure they protect this football in the red zone and take that 0 off the scoreboard when it's all said and done.
Pickett in the gun. Hands off to Martinez, and Martinez on the left side gets inside the 10, picking up 4.
Yeah, one of the lead blockers there was Aaron Moore. He and Maxim Moore, a non-related duo on that front line, but some big bodies, each at 6'3". Moore is 6'3", 260 out of the state of Minnesota. We had flurries of snow earlier today, but this may very well feel like just a fall afternoon for the folks who made it from the land of 10,000 lakes.
And really, what better weather for football? This is what you expect in football season, so.
Says the guy in an air-conditioned press box that has a functioning heater and all windows closed.
Pickett on the screenplay, and it's going to be a completion to Jonathan Garola, who makes it into the end zone. Touchdown! Jonathan Garola puts up 6 for Team USA, and the United States is right back into it. Down by 1, but the extra point pending. And Pickett's remaining on the field. Not sure if it's as a holder or if they're going to go for it. Look at this, a very unique formation here.
Yeah, it'll look a bit more traditional here in a moment in all likelihood. As long as Canada shows a little bit of respect for the receivers lined up wide, we should see them shift back in for the extra point try. But there's always an opportunity with the swinging gate to go for 2. But it looks as though the United States will be content with 1.
And here they come. Hunter Reed in to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Kenny Pickett. Ball snapped. Good hold, and the kick is good. So the score tied at 7. USA and Canada with 7 apiece. 3 minutes to go in the first half of action here at UT Arlington, Maverick Stadium, in this matchup by the USA U16 team against Canada. We'll step aside, take a quick break before the kickoff. Back after this.
NFL Flag, powered by USA Football, is an exciting way to get into the game. NFL Flag is fun and fast-paced, emphasizing football, fitness, fundamentals, teamwork, and sportsmanship. Leagues are easy to start and open to both boys and girls ages 5 to 17. All NFL Flag players receive a USA Football membership as well as an official NFL team jersey, flag set, and insurance. An incredible value. Coaches receive a USA Football membership and insurance as well. So sign up now to become a better player and have fun with NFL Flag.
Back to the action here at UT Arlington. Sean Lerman alongside Lincoln Rose as we bring you this U16 USA football game between the U.S. and Canada. 7-7 your score with 3 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half, as USA in their white jerseys getting set to kick off to Canada.
Yeah, Sean, again, this is all part of the International Bowl, a new format this year between really 2 of the top nations when it comes to playing American football throughout the globe. Canada is actually your defending world champions, upsetting the United States along the way in the U19 World Championships in Austin a couple summers back.
Anthony Crescenzo takes the return out to the 34-yard line before being met by a host of Team USA coverage guys.
Now, these are not the U19 squads. These are the folks who are freshmen in high school, 9th graders who got their first taste of high school ball this year. And moments ago, the United States defense came through on a quick change on a fumble, forced a 3-and-out. Canada had to kick it away, and the United States offense made good on their second opportunity in the red zone, tying this ball game up.
Belfiore back in as the QB for Team Canada, takes the snap, and looking downfield to his right, has a man, and it's complete to Christopher Andrews, but not for much of a gain.
Yeah, that time a little bit too much touch on the pass. That ball needs to get to Andrews quicker so he can turn upfield, but with 3 defenders in the area, the moment that ball started to hang up there, all 3 had a chance to close, and there wasn't going to be much to be gained after the catch.
3-yard gain before DJ Brown was able to come in and make the stop, and it looks like we have an injured player down on the field. It's the man who made the reception, Christopher Andrews.
Yeah, Christopher, who plays his ball up in Vancouver for Vancouver College, the Fighting Irish. One of the talented receivers we've seen in this ball game here early on. The lone touchdown was to Tyler Moxon for Canada. That gave them the early 7-0 advantage. While we have a chance, this certainly has been a fun week, Sean. Of course, it began with these young men arriving this past weekend, 2-a-days all week long, and of course, we were able to bring the fans the Jamboree on Wednesday from the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And, you know, as excited as they were to wear USA across their chest, a lot of them pretty close to equaling that thrill, just getting to walk across that star that they've seen growing up.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be a pretty cool feeling for these guys. You know, you spend your whole life watching games on TV at that stadium, and to be able, you know, every football field's the same. They're all 100 yards long, they're all 50 yards wide, but that one just seems a little bit bigger.
Yeah, not all of them cost $1.2 billion.
No. Most are a little less expensive than that.
And a video board, I'm sure they would all like to hook up their video game system too.
Let's take this quick moment to let you know today's game brought to you by Gatorade, the G Series. Prime, perform, recover. Cutters, no other glove performs like Cutters. And Tyson Fresh Chicken, serve chicken that's farm fresh, serve Tyson Chicken. Back to the action here. Belfiore under center. He'll take the snap, and it's a handoff up the middle, and a huge hit that time. Stanley Smith just drove his man backwards.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything for international relations as the pride of Spreckles, California. Just put Spreckles on the map and just planted the running back into the artificial surface.
Take a look at this replay here. Running back looks like room, but there's Smith with his head up, eyes wide open, and just drills him. Under 2 minutes to go. There's Stanley Smith, 5'11", 165 pounds, but he probably came with about, 500 pounds of force on that one is what it looked like to me.
I imagine a few fans have taken to social media to talk about that last hit being laid by one of the top players on this U16 squad. Again, of course, the handle for USA Football is exactly that, USA Football, and these are your national football teams. USNFT, the handle on Twitter. And IFAF, they've been pretty generous with the retweets for folks using the hashtag International Bowl.
So get yourself a retweet.
Go
for it.
It's been a great way to keep track of all the parents who have been so intricately involved with the maturity of these young men who have entrusted them to these coaches for the past week.
Belfiore takes the snap, has a man to his left, and it's going to be complete. The catch made by Dylan Minosha, who's done a good job today, brought down by Matthew Kruger.
Yeah, Kruger was trying to jump that route. The student athlete over there at Del Oro High School in Loomis, California. But instead of just trying to hit the receiver upon making the catch, thought he was going to be able to get around him in time to either swat it down or haul it in. And, of course, if he could have picked it off, likely would have been no Canadian who could have stopped him from taking it the other way for 6. But instead, a first down for Canada at midfield.
And with just about a minute and a half to go, Canada taking its time, no rush, but they still have 51 yards to go if they want to score. Belfiore working from the gun, and they'll use almost that entire play clock as it ticks down to about 5 seconds before Belfiore takes the snap. And Belfiore is going to get sacked. Daniel Anderson, who else?
Well, he's sacked, but he's fortunate that he was able to hang on to that football. He had it back ready to throw, and the United States so close to being able to strip that ball loose, but he's able to tuck it in time.
Take a look at the replay here, and there he is, Daniel Anderson, with the big hit on the quarterback. And now with 35 seconds to go, Canada doesn't appear as though they're going to try very hard to score before halftime. Rather, they'll just play it safe.
Yeah, this next play could determine whether they let it run out, and that appears to be the case.
Handoff to Minosha goes nowhere, just about to the line of scrimmage. And unlikely that they'll run another play before the end of the half, but a timeout called.
Yeah, it's going to give them a chance if they want to try to set up one shot downfield. It is the final timeout for Canada, and it likely would not be able to, with 11.9, get a catch downfield and run out of bounds. So they'll use most of this time, in all likelihood, on a pass, letting the receivers run downfield. The burden here is on the offensive line for Canada to give the receivers time to run their route.
11 minutes to go. Or 11 seconds, rather, in this first half of a tight game between USA and Canada. These kids out there representing their countries. Outstanding athletes all over the field. And also student athletes, as you mentioned, Lincoln. A lot of these guys want to go on to do big things off the football field.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk more about USA football and what a meaningful experience this is in the second half, but all the focus right here on what would likely be the final play of the first half. Now, if it's a quick incompletion, they may get one more.
Belfiore with a man in motion will just hand it off safely. The carry by Adam Dare. And it'll go nowhere, but the time...
Yeah, no, United States, well, there's a player down right now with 4.5 seconds, but the U.S. can take a timeout here and force Canada to try to give this ball back. The United States would hope for a special teams touchdown. It would be hard for a Canadian player to scramble around for those 4.5 seconds.
Canada's Evan McCaig appears to be in quite a bit of pain down on the field. So we'll take a quick break and come back after this. We'll be right back.
NFL Flag, powered by USA Football, is an exciting way to get into the game. NFL Flag is fun and fast-paced, emphasizing football, fitness, fundamentals, teamwork, and sportsmanship. Leagues are easy to start and open to both boys and girls ages 5 to 17. All NFL Flag players receive a USA Football membership as well as an official NFL team jersey, flag set, and insurance, an incredible value. Coaches receive a USA Football membership and insurance as well. So sign up now to become a better player and have fun with NFL Flag.
Back to the action at UT Arlington between USA and Canada. The U16 squads going at it here in a 7-7 ball game, and with 4.5 seconds to go, Canada will punt it away out of bounds, and that will take us to halftime. So at the end of the first half, your score 7-7. USA and Canada all locked up. So we'll take a quick break here and be right back after this. You're watching the USA Football International Bowl.
For me, I always had to do things the right way. I could never get away with doing things just so-so or almost all the way. I had to do everything perfectly. You see me, I'm not a big guy. I'm only about this tall. You know, I probably should have never made it to the NFL. Everyone always looks at me and says, "You played in the NFL?" I say, "Yeah, I know I'm small, but I have a big heart." And I've always heard that, but one thing I know that helps me is doing things the right way. Proper technique, proper study habits. I didn't always have the physical gifts, but the controllables, the things that I could control with film study, with technique, perfect form, perfect tackling, that's what gave me an edge, because I was willing to do everything completely and fully the right way when others maybe just started to slide by. That was my equalizer. That's what allowed me a chance and an opportunity to play the game.
College football stars of tomorrow are being built today thanks to the support of Tyson Fresh Chicken and Stubbs Legendary Barbecue Sauce. Tyson is the presenting sponsor of the USA Football Tailgate Tour, a salute to top high school student athletes selected to play for the U.S. National Football Team. The USA Football National Team program boasts a star-studded list of alumni, including New York Giants running back David Wilson, Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston, Georgia running back Todd Gurley, and Stanford signal caller Kevin Hogan. This fall, the USA Football Tailgate Tour made 14 stops across the country to honor student athletes selected to participate on U.S. national teams. Tour stops featured visits to high school pep rallies, pregame jersey ceremonies, and tailgate parties prior to games, featuring Tyson Fresh Chicken samples prepared with Stubbs Legendary Barbecue sauces and marinades.
Oh, very excited.
Yeah,
we are so proud of him.
He's a really hard worker, and everything he does, he goes 100%. And he's also a good kid, a good student, just all around a good. With a tackle for the Highlanders.
Tyson and Stubbs made sure that fans walked away with giveaways, had the chance to enjoy interactive tailgate games, and hosted special meet and greet autograph sessions with current and former NFL players, mascots, and cheerleaders.
This is great atmosphere. I mean, it reminded me back of my high school days, like just reminiscing just at this moment. And I mean, those guys are lucky to be out there, even though I'm in the NFL. That was still one of the funnest football times in my life.
Basically because these guys play their hearts out. You know, I mean, it's big. You know, every kid needs to know that they're doing well. Getting these type of things is like really important, and it's going to propel them, you know, to all types of new heights, new goals. It's like, hey, I really accomplished something, and everybody likes accomplishments.
Each of the high schools involved were honored to have the Tailgate Tour visit their school and were great ambassadors for the Tyson and Stubbs brands.
Well, St. Rita football, we're in our 102nd year. The energy here for football games is always great, but Tyson Chicken being here tonight added a lot of flavor, and I know everybody enjoyed sampling the chicken, seeing Desmond Clark, Staley. You know, it was a great night, a great addition to the atmosphere.
It was delicious. I tried every flavor barbecue sauce. I'm from Texas, so I like my barbecue. It's nice. It brings more attention to the school, which is ultimately what we want, is to get the word out about Lutheran North.
In total, the Tailgate Tour impacted more than 30,000 high school football fans in 10 markets from September through November, distributing more than 15,000 Tyson Fresh Chicken samples. The Tailgate Tour had its own microsite featuring a tailgate recipe contest, and tour stops were promoted on usafootball.com as well as other USA Football social media channels, including Facebook and Twitter. Thank you to Tyson Fresh Chicken and Stubbs Legendary Barbecue Sauce for your support of USA Football's national team program and for helping to create lasting memories for these great athletes.
On the competitive level, I think I had learned that deaf players can compete with anyone, and that we're no different than other teams. It's just that we're not able to hear. Our players come from a variety of family backgrounds. Some come from broken homes, some come from traditional families, and some of the kids don't communicate with their parents, but here we are an actual team, almost like a family. We're like brothers. So that's their passion. They want to know that they're going to be playing as part of a team, and they're representing themselves, the school, as well as being deaf. We deaf people aren't able to hear what the opposing team is doing. We have to use our eyes. We have to have good peripheral vision. So we do work a lot on our peripheral vision, keeping awake and watching. constantly. Looking at the Indiana School for the Deaf, we've never really been a very large school compared to other deaf schools or even public schools, and that's a struggle. So we do the best we can with what we have, and we teach our kids that it's technique, not so much size. And some of the kids say, well, look at the big guy I got to play against, and I say, trust me, it's your technique. My passion is paying it forward to the kids. I graduated from the deaf school. I didn't have much support from my parents, but the staff here have been very supportive and told me that I do have a future and I will succeed. I didn't really believe it because I was basing it on how my parents raised me, but those people that supported me were my football coaches.
At USA Football, creating a better, safer game is our #1 priority. The second annual Protection Tour, part of USA Football's Heads Up Football initiative, is a series of free, one-day events for players and parents that delivers expert-driven health and safety education focused on teaching proper tackling fundamentals, equipment fitting, and concussion awareness.
We need to go out here, start this thing from the bottom level, teach these young athletes, these 6, 7, 8, 9s, how to tackle properly so they can grow up playing the game the right way.
Supported by corporate partners Riddell and AIG, the 2013 Protection Tour impacted more than 2,300 youth football players and parents in 5 NFL markets throughout July and August. Events were hosted by the San Francisco 49ers, Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, and New York Giants. At each Protection Tour stop, players were introduced to the 5-step heads-up football tackling technique and participated in various football tackling drills, while parents learned about concussion awareness and proper helmet fitting. Each player was measured and sized for a helmet by a Riddell equipment expert to show parents the proper helmet size and fit. Protection Tour stops also included interaction with current and former NFL players.
The concept of team, working with others, and working collectively towards one goal. I think those are life skills, not just football skills. And I really think that football teaches you more about those skills than any other sport that there is for kids to play today.
7-time Pro Bowl receiver Larry Fitzgerald of the Arizona Cardinals served as the Protection Tour's national spokesperson and conducted a media tour in New York City, appearing on numerous national television and radio shows to promote the events.
There's free tours all around the country at many NFL sites that are teaching proper fittings for helmets and shoulder pads, concussion education, and also proper tackling techniques, which is so important at the youth level.
The Protection Tour teaches young athletes the proper way to tackle and engages parents in the learning process. An educated and engaged youth football parent makes for a better, safer game.
Welcome back to University of Texas at Arlington, Maverick Stadium. This matchup between the USA and Canada U16 squads. I'm Sean Lehrman alongside Lincoln Rose as we bring you the Sports Authority halftime report of this game. An exciting game so far, 7-7 your score, and we look at some of the top performers for either squad. Denzel Brown, who we talked about a lot pregame, 4 carries for 20 yards, 1 reception for 38, and that 1 reception for 38 came on a really big play.
Yeah, that was his coming out play, so to speak, when he really caught the attention. Now he would go on to get some hard-fought yardage in subsequent plays, but it helped USA move that football down the field, and the United States, before halftime, able to tie it up with their first score.
Jonathan Garola had a 10-yard touchdown reception for the United States to tie things up at 7. And then on the Canada side, Tyler Moxon has a couple of catches for 46 yards. And that touchdown was a really pretty play as he ran down the sideline. A beautiful, beautiful throw by their quarterback, Jordy Belfiore, who was able to hit him right in stride. And then Moxon got right into the end zone. And Canada struck first early in this one.
Yeah, that was on a 3rd down and long play. United States had good positioning in the secondary, but the quarterbacks and receivers for Canada, they clearly have some chemistry, as we've seen several nice routes run and well-placed passes.
And the chemistry, a good point, and it's one that we've talked about a bit today. You know, these Canada teams have played together. They've been able to get practices together for an extended period of time. But the United States, just this week, you know, you've said they've been doing the two-a-days for their practices, but there's really only so much you can do in 1 week of practicing.
You have a lot of talented individuals, a lot of smart individuals, and you would love to take advantage of that with some complicated systems, but for the most part, you've got to keep it simple with a few nuances. They were able to work some of those in at the Jamboree and some live competition when they were playing on halves of the field. We were able to bring that to you live on the USA Football website. That's usafootball.com. And, of course, we do want to remind you, USA Football very active in social media, both on Facebook and Twitter. Twitter, easy to find, the handle USA Football. And, of course, you can follow these national teams. You'll see 6 of them this week. Of course, already U16s complete their experience this week earlier today with a blowout win, 48-0 over the age group the same from Canada, and we're watching the U16s here in a much tighter affair.
Yeah, we saw in that Jamboree, it was all Canada. When you and I were doing those Jamboree games, it seemed like Canada was just dominating every single one. But it's been a little different story today for the United States. The first game, a big 48-0 win in the under-15 game for the USA over Canada, and here 7-7 tied up. What do you think the biggest difference has been between that Jamboree and now today's actual games?
Yeah, the only way it could have been more Canada back on Wednesday is Justin Bieber gave a little halftime concert. But I think you had mentioned earlier with Tom the thought that the United States really was emphasizing, at that time only halfway through a week of work of two-a-days with the coaches, they really wanted to evaluate players. It was less about picking up any kind of win on the scoreboard, but instead trying to make sure that they could run some plays and try to evaluate players. You and I were set up there on the mezzanine with the broadcast. We had camera crews, film crews on behalf of both nations around us, flanking us, trying to get some video of these players to evaluate to determine who could start and represent them out here. The United States in that earlier ball game clicking beautifully, and it was because they were able to play on all 3 facets of the game so well. Defense set the tone, and this ball game, defense has stiffened up for USA. We'll see how the second 24 minutes unfold.
I think it'll certainly be an exciting second half between some players that have spent a lot of time developing and becoming really quality athletes and young men. And if you want to develop in that same way, check out the USA Football Regional Development Camps presented by Upper Deck. Are you interested in trying out for the U.S. national team and spending 2 days receiving coaching and instruction by current NCAA college football coaches? We'll come out to one of USA Football's regional development camps, making stops in 17 cities this spring. For more information, call the national team's office at 609-662-4495 or visit usafootball.com and click on the national teams tab as we take a look at the dates of some of the camps there. The teams making their way back out onto the field as here comes the U.S. from the right side of the field now, and they're ready to get set for this second half of football. And as they get set, so will we. We'll step aside, take a quick break, and be back right after this. You're watching USA Football, the International Bowl.
What's the most important thing? Okay, you can move your shoulder. Drive it for about 2 yards. Okay, you guys ready? Go!
NFL Flag, powered by USA Football, is an exciting way to get into the game. NFL Flag is fun and fast-paced, emphasizing football, fitness, fundamentals, teamwork, and sportsmanship. Leagues are easy to start and open to both boys and girls ages 5 to 17. All NFL flag players receive a USA Football membership as well as an official NFL team jersey, flag set, and insurance. An incredible value. Coaches receive a USA Football membership and insurance as well. So sign up now to become a better player and have fun with NFL Flag.
Welcome back to UT Arlington. I'm Sean Lerman alongside Lincoln Rose. Many thanks to Derek Raymond, our camera producer, Tom Monfiletto on media, and Nick Panisi, our spotter, for today's broadcast. I'd like to thank the sponsors making today's game possible. Tyson Fresh Chicken, serve chicken that's farm fresh. Serve Tyson Chicken. It's absolutely delicious, just about as good as it gets. Tyson Chicken. Check them out at Tyson.com. We'll get back to the action here momentarily as Team Canada in its huddle on the sideline getting set to kick off here. Getting set to return, it'll be Jonathan Garola on the far side of your screen for the United States. And on your near side, Dominic Harper ready to return this one.
Well, you have a chance. One of the names you mentioned here in the booth with us on behalf of USA Football, Nick Panisi, and he's pretty reflective of what we've experienced over the years with USA Football. They've gotten to know these young men at development camps around the country, and they really know about everything you can know about their background, their families, and get to know these young men real well. A great resource for us who show up each year for the International Bowl and various other events throughout the season. But USA Football, it's a great reflection of how much they care about these young men. And we saw a lot of these young men now being entrusted to college coaches after signing on the dotted line back on Wednesday. We'll see those players, the U19s, tonight at 7:30 Central Time. That's the local time here, 8:30 Eastern.
Adam Turin's kick will go down the middle of the field and be taken right around the 35-yard line by Harper, who, as soon as his knee hits the ground, he's down. There doesn't need to be any contact by the IFAF rules.
Yeah, all the amateur rules, whether it be the NCAA or the International Federation of American Football, those rules closely resembling those of the NCAA.
So we are underway here in the second half. 7-7 your score. The USA wearing its white jerseys and white helmets. Canada wearing dark blue jerseys and the helmets of all of their individual clubs back home. Dante Sparaco will start at quarterback here in the second half. Kenny Pickett got the majority of snaps from the QB position in the first half, but Sparaco did play a bit. Anthony Sees, the tailback here, and they'll fake the handoff to Sees, and Sparaco will take off running across the 40, and he's hit pretty hard just past the 40 as Turin comes up to make the stop, but still a gain of 4 for Sparaco.
Yeah, Canada getting fired up after that hit as they saw a 7-point advantage early on slowly turn into a tie ball game at halftime. Offense was slowed down as the defense of the United States started to catch up. Burden on Canada's defense now is to once again make a stop and try to set up Canada with its first drive of the ball game here.
Sparaco takes the snap, and he'll hand it off to Sees this time. Sees fighting through contact as he gets close to the first down marker, a little bit short, but a nice gain of about 5 yards for Anthony Sees, the 5'8", 155-pound back out of Kingsway High School in Mickleton, New Jersey, set to graduate in 2017.
Yeah, all these young men are high school freshmen on this roster. We'll see as we get to some of the older teams, a mixture of players who are in different classes at the high school ranks. Of course, a little bit earlier we saw the United States 48-0, the U15s prevailing over Canada. Those were all 8th graders, and I know you and Tom saw some tremendous athletes who aren't even out of junior high yet.
It's amazing. You don't feel like you're watching a group of 8th graders. You watch these games, and it's like you're watching professional level football. These kids are absolutely outstanding. They're lightning fast. I mean, I'm 10 years their elder, and I would be very uncomfortable running around the field with these fellas. We have an injured player down on the field here, so we'll take this opportunity to check out Dante Sparaco, the quarterback for Team USA. Sparaco, lightning fast.
Yeah, we've seen his mobility on display this week, his ability to keep plays alive, and that's when The legs come in handy this time. You see, doesn't even need to find a receiver downfield. He found some open spaces to run.
He can also throw the ball quite a bit, as that's a nice throw on the run that we see there, as well as in the pocket. Just all the facets of the game that you'd like to see out of a young quarterback. I mean, just look at that throw downfield. Perfect in the breadbasket. And we're back to UT Arlington here. Sparacco takes the snap and hands it off to Anthony Sees. Sees has some room up the middle, picks up the first down and then some across midfield.
It's going to be about an 11-yard gain. A nice job just right up the middle, nothing fancy, but as we've seen, one constant for the United States from the youngest to the oldest squads here with the national teams is the men up front creating opportunities for running backs.
Leon Kioia came up and made that stop, but not before Sees picked up the first down. Sparacco in the gun with Sees the back. Two wide outs to the right, one to the left. They'll hand it off to Sees again. Sees with a little hesitation move and breaks a couple of tackles. Off he goes, and an 8-yard gain for Anthony Sees.
Nice job, a good lesson in just to be persistent and not quit until you're finally dragged down. A couple of Canadians were draped on his back there in the backfield, but never could get a good grip.
2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard gain by Sees.
Each team will make a late substitution to their huddle. For the United States, it's just their quarterback coming in with the play call from that far sideline.
And Sparacco will have to hurry here. Just 5 seconds until the play clock dwindles down. And the play clock hits 0.
The referee is going to request that the play clock be reset. That's the reason why there is no flag down.
And Harper with the carry on the reverse is going to get himself a first down, and the USA offense is pumping now. Justice Cremier made the stop.
This is still the United States' first possession to start this second half. They have not led in this ball game. They were able to tie it up before the half.
They are threatening now. Sparacco. And we'll have a timeout called by Canada with 9 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the third quarter of action between these two squads. And so far in this second half, it's been a different USA offense. We've seen some different personnel in there. Harper got the ball. Sees didn't get the ball much in the first half, but we saw him carried a few times here. Sparacco in at QB, and it looks like this group is really comfortable and playing well together.
It's still early in the second half, but obviously these are legitimate two deeps. When we talk about depth, you never know what the next man up is going to be able to provide you. But when you talk about a national team, the United States, and we bragged on Nick and his colleagues at USA Football, they go around the country. We've been showing the listings of these development camps around the states, and they try to find the best, the second best, the third best out there, as those players all compete to wear the 3 letters across their chest in contests like this one.
And they certainly do a very good job of it. Today's game brought to you by Riddell. Protect and perform. Today's game also brought to you by Sports Authority, all things sporting good, and Shock Doctor Sports, the leader in mouthguard technology. Back to the action here. I'm Sean Lerman alongside Lincoln Rose. Dante Spicaro in at QB for the USA, driving down the field right now, right to left on your screen. Spicaro fakes the handoff on the reverse, and he'll take off himself, gets past the line of scrimmage, out to the 25-yard line before being brought down. A short gain, but Matteo Trigiano made the tackle.
Yeah, for Canada, we saw a play there. Corey Fletcher actually winds up catching up to the quarterback. Fletcher was the young man who forced that fumble back in the first half. And Fletcher with enough speed that the United States and their quarterback are never able to turn the corner upfield for much of a gain. Just now 2nd and 8 to go. But Fletcher's been a fun one to watch out there defensively for Canada.
He certainly has. He's done a great job today. Made a number of big stops. Sparacco takes the snap and hands it off to Sees. Sees fighting through contact once again, picks up a few yards, and it'll be a manageable third down for the United States.
It'll be a long 4, a short 5 to go. Neither team has really been all that set on kicking field goals in this ball game.
It was Fletcher who made the stop on that one again, and we have an injured player for Canada down. So we'll have a timeout on the field here. It's Cole Barron, the injured player. So we'll step aside, take a quick break, and be right back. You're watching USA Football.
For me, I always had to do things the right way. I could never get away with doing things just so-so or almost all the way. I had to do everything perfectly. You see me, I'm not a big guy. I'm only about this tall. You know, I probably should have never made it to the NFL. Everyone always looks at me and says, "You played in the NFL?" I say, "Yeah, I know I'm small, but I have a big heart." And I've always heard that, but one thing I know that helps me is doing things the right way. Proper technique, proper study habits. I didn't always have the physical gifts, but the controllables, the things that I could control with film study, with technique, perfect form, perfect tackling, that's what gave me an edge, because I was willing to do everything completely and fully the right way when others maybe just started to slide by. That was my equalizer. That's what allowed me a chance and an opportunity to play the game.
An incompletion on third down brings up 4th and 5 for the United States. And the field goal unit into the game, Hunter Reed getting set to kick. And we saw this set for the United States earlier, Lincoln.
Yeah, fairly common. It's just a way to keep things interesting, keep your players involved. Every now and then, in this case, the 4th and 5, the defense doesn't line up against your line, and you can just go ahead and swing it out for the easy yardage, as this will fail to garner 3 points, and the United States still has not been able to claim a lead as of yet. Canada is just now going to get the football for the first time here in the third quarter.
Yeah, the USA did a pretty good Canada impression on that first drive of the second half, the way Canada held onto the ball for a lot of the first drive of the first half. But now Team Canada with a chance to take a lead themselves as they have the ball with under 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. They'll take over at the 22-yard line.
So Canada's defense able to step up and get the ball back to its offense. Offense should be well rested by now.
Anthony Crescenzo in at quarterback, takes the snap and runs it for a gain of 12, picking up the first down. And Crescenzo, we've seen make a number of plays on the defensive side of the ball, but now he's in at the quarterback position.
Yeah, he's one of these young men. It's a 40-player roster for what Canada calls its U16 team, again, a club from British Columbia. Just a little bit less depth than the national team for USA boasts.
Crescenzo under center. Man in motion, takes the snap, and they'll hand it off up the middle, but everybody on Team USA's front line is there, and it'll be no gain. It was Akpada with the carry.
Yeah, the United States continues to win that battle more often than not. A few more one-on-one battles to the benefit of these players, but they have formed a bond. We got to read through a lot of their questionnaires, and a lot of them already referring to their teammates as their brothers out there. A very close group.
Yeah, certainly a lot of these guys feel like family, which is pretty easy. When you get to spend a lot of time, even if it's just over the course of a week with a group, you can feel like they are your family. Movement up front and a flag thrown, play blown dead, as this will go against Roger Mulatto.
Yeah, his movement on the line against Canada for the false start draws the defensive end offside. Usually a good indication that's a false start when the officials blow it dead when there hasn't been contact, and so that will move Canada back 5, 2nd and 15 coming up. Otherwise, Canadians would have had a free play.
So 2nd and 15 here, 6 minutes and about 40 seconds to go here in the third quarter between USA and Canada. Crescenzo takes the snap under center, looking downfield to his left, and he's going to get dragged down after a gain of about 4. Roger Mulatto makes the stop.
He gets the penalty yardage back. There is just enough protection for the line. He could feel that bubble closing around him, tries to squirt through, and does the best he can, and now makes it a 3rd and 10.
I'd like to mention today's game produced by Strive, strivenetwork.tv. Crescendo under center. Crescenzo takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolling to his right, has a lot of time, a lot of room, airs it out downfield, incomplete. DJ Brown on the coverage. Now, DJ Brown, a pretty interesting guy for this USA defense. He's, in addition to being a projected Division I prospect, DJ Brown was once a 2nd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. His dad was a wide receiver for Tuskegee University, so athletic ability clearly running in the family for DJ Brown, the former black belt.
Canada, that last play, by the way, was trying to get it back into the hands of Tyler Moxon, the young man who has the lone touchdown for Canada here today. But United States forcing another punt.
Harper and Garola back deep to return. It'll be Garola taking this one along the far sideline. Not a ton of room to run, but gets a couple of yards as he makes it out towards midfield.
United States continues to send 2 men back to return on punt returns, and again, that is just to make sure the ball does not get past them. Canada has not been booming these punts as it is, but you saw an opportunity to pick up an easy 7 to 8 yards additionally there to spot this ball just a couple yards shy of midfield now for the offense.
5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tie ball game between the United States and Canada. We'll see who comes out to play quarterback for the U.S. We've seen a little bit of Kenny Pickett. We've seen a little bit of Sparaco. And it'll be Pickett who makes his way out onto the field for this drive. It's been a quarterback by committee at times for the United States and for all of these teams today. Handoff up the middle and a nice run, picking up right around 7 yards that time. Andrew Coons getting involved in the conversation.
Yeah, Coons, the 5'6" tailback out of Maysville, Kentucky, where he attends Mason. But at 5'6", already 185 pounds. That is a small tank.
And play blown dead before it can begin. It's a false start against the offense. Back him up 5 yards.
You know, we've got some great officials also participating in this weekend's events as some veteran crews, and after each game they talk down with downstairs with one of the top officials in the country, Bill Lamagna, who goes over some things to continue to improve upon in the game as a general whole, but really blessed to have such a great group out there supporting this international competition.
And the refereeing has been outstanding so far. There hasn't been a single call that I've complained about. Pickett drops back, and it's a screenplay incomplete through the hands of Dominic Harper. Harper would have had some room to run had he hauled that one in. Instead, it'll be 3rd down and 8.
United States scored near the end of that first half to tie it up after Canada scored on its opening drive but has been shut out since then. And this is a much different complexion than what you all saw during that U16 ball game that was also available to those of you in the States here on ESPN3. And for those of you abroad on USA Football's YouTube channel, all the links available on internationalbowl.com. And, well, the tip drill, fortunately that ball falls to the floor of this artificial surface for the United States.
Pickett almost has that one picked off. It was Turin that was there to bat it down. Just about 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Still a tie ball game, a low-scoring affair as the USA offense will come in to punt. Back deep to return for Canada. It'll be Tyler Moxon. Moxon scored the Canada touchdown on the very first drive of this game. And we'll have a timeout called by the United States. And as we do, I'll take a moment to remind you about all the fantastic alumni of USA football. The USA Alumni Spotlight is brought to you by Upper Deck. Collect the best. We take a look at our list here. Jameis Winston of Florida State, Todd Gurley, Kevin Hogan. Just a list of guys that goes on and on. Stephen Tuitt, outstanding, outstanding football players. USA football alumni, each and every one of them. We'll take another look here, a closer look at Jameis Winston, member of the 2011 Under-19 team, your 2013 Heisman Trophy winner, 2013 national champion, the only freshman to hoist those honors, as he did this season. Some other notable alumni now playing in the National Football League: David Wilson, running back for the New York Giants, Aaron Dobson, Brian Winters of the New York Jets, and Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, again, and obviously the screen's only so big, you can only fit so many names on there, but a lot of greats have come through, and some of them haven't even had enough time at the college level to completely define their legacy. But USA football already with some great lineage.
A fake punt handed off, but USA is not going to get anywhere as Canada saw what was happening. Nowhere to go, and now Canada taking over with fantastic field position.
Well, the timeout from the United States gave them time to talk that play over. It also gave Canada time to talk over the possibility of such.
Yeah, you have to imagine Canada was over in their huddle saying, okay, well, we expect that they'll punt it, but if they don't, watch for this and be ready for that, and that could be a large reason why Canada was able to stop that play so well. It'll be Crescenzo in his quarterback once again. He'll have 3 wideouts to his right, 1 to his left. Manosha the back. Has a man complete on the right side of the field. Christopher Andrews makes the catch at the 41-yard line, just a gain of 3. Justin Acosta made the stop.
Yeah, we've seen Christopher Andrews, one of the top 2 receiving options for Canada today, along with Tyler Moxon. Had a nice outing, as much of the success for Canada has come along the edges, both in the run game and the pass game.
7-7 your score. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Crescenzo under center. Has a man in motion, and he'll pitch it to Alex Akpada. Akpada met by a host of defenders. Picks up 1 yard before being brought down by Stanley Smith. Smith has a couple of tackles today.
United States defense, again, you imagine when they heard that the special teams unit was going to go for it, they realized there'd be a chance that all of a sudden they'd find themselves on their half of the field with this turnaround, and that's exactly the case, but through 2 plays, just allowing 3 yards. And this defense has gotten stronger and stronger with every drive. They'd like to force Canada to make a tough decision here if 4th down comes up.
3rd down and 7. Crescenzo in the gun. Play blown dead, though. False start against Canada, and that'll make this 3rd down all that much more difficult to convert.
Yeah, it looked like the running back was starting to lean towards the line, lost his balance, and at that point, an easy call for the officials and a more difficult distance on 3rd down, moving to 3rd and 12 now for Canada.
2.5 minutes to go here in the third. Play clock down to 10. Crescenzo under center with 2 wideouts to his right. Couple of men in the backfield. He's looking to his right, and it's complete, but well short of the first down. Coverage that time was made by Jack McKenna.
Yeah, they are outside of field goal range, so it's going to be a question for Canada whether they want to go for it after picking up about half the yardage. It sets up maybe a 4th and a long 6, or whether they'll try to pin the United States back deep into their own half of the field. And we're about to find out the answer right here.
Looks like they'll punt it away. Joe Zakari back deep to return the punt.
I want to point out Tyler Moxon's the punter, also one of their best athletes. But
it's
nothing
high
complicated
punt
here.
And it'll go out of bounds. So a high punt, not very deep. We'll see where the referee marks the ball. It's just about the 26-yard line past the 25. And the USA will have to go 74 yards if they'd like to score here. And I imagine they would.
Yeah, United States has not led in this contest featuring the USA U16 national squad. Again, this features exclusively tonight in this ball game freshmen from the USA on behalf of the national team. All of them members of the class of 2017. We saw exclusively 8th graders moments ago prior to this ball game. Tonight, young men who have played their final high school games already and have bright college careers to look forward to.
Sparacco back in at quarterback, pitches it to Denzel Brown, who has nowhere to go but gets just about back to the line of scrimmage before being knocked out of bounds by Matteo Trigiano. Sparacco had some nice success the last time he was in the game.
This is an offense that has taken some gambles throughout this ball game that haven't always paid off, but each time the defense of USA has stepped up, proving to be the strength of this club here early on, as they get the ball right back going in the right direction.
Brown with a short gain. Picks up about a yard.
Probably going to have to run one more play inside of a minute to go here in the third quarter. Play clock has not started yet. It will on the official's whistle.
40 seconds to go in the third quarter. No scoring in this third quarter. Canada scored in the first. The United States came back with a touchdown of its own in the second. Thus far, though, no scoring in the third with under 30 seconds to go in the period. Sparacco dropping back, lots of time. Right side of the field, no good. Incomplete that time. Turin on the coverage. Intended for Denzel Brown.
And if we're going to brag on USA's defense for the quick 3 and out, Canada stepping up and doing the exact same. Again, now Moxon goes from being the punter to the punt returner for Canada. And Canada should come out pretty well.
And how often do you see that? A guy who's athletic enough to return punts, but also has the skill to punt the ball. And that one's almost blocked, but it does get off, hits off of a USA coverage member's back.
Yeah, again, that's a live, not a live ball, so no pressure for Canada to fall on it unless they believe one of their own players touched it and made it live on a muff. But you saw a Canadian flying in there to fall on it just to be safe.
So 11 seconds to go in the third, and Canada will take control of the ball right around midfield. They'll be at the United States 49-yard line.
Canada's going to have to run a play here, 11.8 seconds remaining in this third quarter. A scoreless quarter in which we saw the United States attempt a field goal for a lead on its first drive coming out of the half, but unsuccessful.
We'll see if Canada takes a shot at the end zone. It seems like they've been most effective offensively on the sidelines with wide receiver streaks down the sides of the field. Moxon's on the far side of your screen. He's been one of the favored targets today as Belfiore comes back into the game at quarterback and movement up front.
Yeah, one of the receivers in the slot a little prematurely. Thought he may have gotten away with it, but at the last second, the linesman on the near side right on top of things.
They'll get backed up to the 46-yard line.
And you would understand for these teams who haven't worked much together if a lineman moves, but a receiver, your job is to watch that ball. You see it snapped, and then you sprint downfield. Just a little eager to run the route. In all likelihood, that play was designed to go in that direction here on the near side.
So keep an eye out for that slot receiver once again. Moxon on the far side of the screen, trips wide receivers to the right. Belfiore working from the shotgun.
Yeah, they're going to need to fix the clock. No time should have come off on a false start.
Should read 11.8. And now it reads a minute 10 here in the stadium, which is just slightly off. Yeah, we're at 11.6.
It's good enough.
Belfiore takes the snap, but another flag thrown, and Belfiore almost got drilled on the play.
They're going to have to reset that clock again.
Back him up another 5 yards. And it'll be 1st and 20. Not exactly the way you want to start a drive. The penalty actually going against the defense, offsides against the United States.
Yeah, almost surprised there wasn't unabated to the quarterback to blow that play dead, because they deemed that play a live play to the extent they almost considered an intentional grounding call.
Yeah.
With a flurry of defensive linemen coming across the way. But Canada, in the end, picks up the 5 yards. Simply 1st and 10, and so technically time does come off the clock.
Belfiore will work from under center once we have the clock reset to 9 seconds, and we do. Couple of wide receivers. Man in motion. And Belfiore will hand it off to the man in motion on a reverse and hit hard. Gain of about 4, and that'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. At the end of 3, your score remains tied at 7 between the United States U16 team and Canada's U15 team, although you have to be 15 to play on the Canada 15-year-old team. Portions of today's game brought to you by Marriott, the official hotel partner and VIP hospitality sponsor of USA Football. Marriott is the official hotel partner of USA Football and the U.S. national football team. Special thanks to Marriott for their support of USA Football and the national team program. And we've said it before, we'll say it again. Our Strive Network group is staying at the Marriott, and it's been absolutely fantastic thus far. I've slept like a baby. It's been wonderful. 4th quarter getting set to begin here as the teams make their way back out onto the field. USA Network, or USA Football, check them out on Twitter, at USA Football. Tweet hashtag HeadsUpFB and hashtag Team USA FB. Also, check out the Strive Network on Twitter at Strive_Network. That's Strive_Network to stay up to date with Strive and all the broadcasts that we do. Team Canada with the ball, 2nd and 7. Belfiore on a screen pass, hits his man, and a short gain, but not too much there.
Yeah, it'll technically go down as a 1-yard run with that being a lateral. A dangerous play if that ball's not caught. Of course, need to fall on top of it.
Xander Bailey got the carry that time, you would say. And it'll be 3rd and 6 as time ticks away here in the 4th quarter. We will have another game after this one in just a bit, and that's the one that you're all excited about, that U19 matchup. All the top college recruits in the nation, a large majority of them playing in that one. Belfiore's pass knocked down. Outstanding coverage by DJ Brown on that one.
And again, the defense of the United States put in a tough position, steps up, and it looks as though they'll be able to get the ball back for the offense once again. Scoreless second half for Canada. Consecutive quarters without a score. After scoring a touchdown on its very first possession of the ball game. It was a nice 3rd down conversion at the time when things were clicking with the passing game. United States just with 1 man deep this time back at the 10-yard line.
Moxon's punt will be fielded by Jonathan Garola, and Garola with some room to run out to the 29. That was actually Joseph Sakari returning that one. So USA will take it over. The score still tied at 7. The United States with it on the 29-yard line. 28-yard line is where they'll officially spot it.
Been a chilly couple of days here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Again, we're sandwiched between the 2 large cities in the Metroplex here in Arlington. Yesterday, a decent amount of snow, and when I say that, all of 1 inch. But in Texas, that's a decent amount of snow. It shuts down a major airport like DFW. But today, very light snow flurries, a little bit of ice, but nothing major. Temperatures slightly below freezing.
And it'll be a lot warmer tomorrow, as we're looking at 62 and pretty sunny tomorrow. Kenny Pickett back in at quarterback. Takes the snap and hands it off up the middle to Anthony Sees. Sees, though, not a lot of room to work with. He picks up maybe a yard.
Yeah, each nation's defense right now simply dictating things out there on the field. And right now it's Canada's turn.
Corey Fletcher made the stop that time once again. Fletcher's been around the ball on defense just about on every play, it seems. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the United States. Pickett working from the gun. 2 wide outs to the left, 1 to the right. Sees in the backfield. And it'll be a screen on the left side, overthrown. Intended target that time was Eric Gallman.
Yeah, Pickett just... That ball comes out of his hand a little awkwardly. Airs it out. But leaving the receiver too much, simply an incomplete pass, no harm done. But it'll be 3rd and long with 9 yards to go.
10 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the final quarter of play between the United States and Canada. It's been a tight game so far, fueled by defense and a couple of offensive brief explosions by either club. Pickett working from the gun. He'll take the snap and look downfield to his left. Airs it out on the left sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Gallman, but just out of his reach.
Yeah, great coverage by Canada, and you brag also on USA's offensive line for giving Pickett the time and opportunity to sit back and make that throw. Just could not click, and more often than not, as of late, the defense again has been prevailing for these 2 teams, and it's yet another 3 and out.
Tyler Moxon will head in to return the punt for Canada.
Get the sense if there's going to be a score, it's going to be predicated. It's going to start with a turnover from one of these defenses to create a short field.
Good snap, and the punt blocked that time and recovered by Canada. Well, there's your turnover right there.
Yeah, special teams coming through, ever important third facet of the game, and it's going to be 1st and goal for Canada.
Justice Cremier hauls it in, and Canada has the ball inside the 10. As we check out the replay, it's a good snap, but just check out that rush at the quarterback, or at the punter, rather. And the ball knocked down, picked up by Cremier, and now Canada with the ball. Belfiore takes the snap, and he'll run it himself up the middle. Gets a little bit past the line of scrimmage, picks up a yard.
Yeah, again, but this is a USA defense that we've seen them multiple times tonight be put in a tough situation, and they've excelled. They'll try to continue to make these stops. Canada may have gotten away with more movement there on the right side by one of their skill players. You just have to watch yourself. You can't lean. You can't get that initial step towards the line until the ball's been snapped.
Belfiore will work from under center this time. He takes the snap, looking out to his right, has a man, and it's caught short of the end zone, but a completion. Hauling it in that time, Taylor Noel. 3rd and goal from the 1.
Yeah, great snag. Nice toss by the quarterback, and makes it a much more manageable situation here for Canada, and really puts the burden on the United States defending just 3 feet.
Be interesting to see if it comes to 4th down, if Canada will take the points with a field goal or if they'll go for it.
I have a feeling they will take a second shot at this if they have to.
Belfiore, under center. Takes the snap, handoff up the middle, and USA stops him and throws him back. What a defensive stop by the United States.
Yeah, forward progress will move this ball back to somewhere between the 3 and the 4 yard line, and we'll see what Canada's thinking here. Obviously, the field goal would give you the lead, but if you do go ahead and go for it, you are likely looking at pinning USA's offense back inside of the 4 if you fail. So it's not much of a gamble if you pursue the 7 points, but at the moment it looks like Canada would like to claim its 2nd lead of the night after being scoreless since the first drive of the ball game.
Roger Mulatto came up and made the stop, as you saw in that replay there. And now in to attempt the extra point, Adam Turin.
Yeah, field goal here
for Turin. Goal. And play blown dead. It may have been blocked if that play had been allowed to continue.
It's a delay of game. They did not get it off in time, and that's going to cost Canada 5 yards. It's going to go from a 22-yard try to a 27-yard try.
Not a huge difference, but still enough that, you know, it makes it a little bit tougher. Another 5 yards, you know, a 22-yarder is basically a chip shot. A 27-yarder, that's a field goal.
Well, it means you have a lower angle on this kick if you're a high school age player, and it gives a little bit more of a shot for the big man on that defensive line to get a hand up and tip it.
Turin, ready to go. It won't get blocked, and it's good.
Plenty of leg on that kick. Nice little chip shot. And Canada has its first point since the opening drive of the ball game and has its 2nd lead of the night.
10-7, Canada leads it now, and it'll be up to the United States to come back and score some points. The defense so far has done all it could for the U.S. to stop them. Even that time, they almost completely stopped them from getting any points, despite the Canada offense getting the ball with it on the 9-yard line.
And to celebrate the field goal, I doubt this was on purpose, but a little bit of the Beebs.
Garola back deep to return, along with Harper. Turin will kick off for Canada.
We'll mention Selena Gomez from these parts, not too far from here.
That is more than I knew about Selena Gomez. I can't tell if I'm impressed or not. Turin getting set to kick it off here with 7 minutes and just about 40 seconds to go in the final quarter of action. Turin approaches the ball, and he'll kick it pretty low, but taken by Garola. Garola with room to run, and he's got a hole up the middle across midfield, and Garola fighting through tacklers out to the 45. The U.S. is going to have outstanding field position as Garola makes it to the Canadian 43-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know what Canada was concerned about if they had tried to kick deep. Instead, they have done the United States a favor with a short field. With that said, Canada's defense has looked great here in tonight's ball game. Certainly more than capable of defending 43 yards of field position. But the United States certainly will take this spot on Canada's end of the field.
We'll see who comes out to play quarterback, and it's going to be Dante Sparacco, the 6'3", 215-pound QB out of Glenwood Springs.
6'3", 215-pound high school freshman.
That's very true. He's going to hand it off up the middle to Emilio Martinez, who stumbles forward for a gain of a couple. Time ticking down towards 7 minutes to go in the game. 2nd and 8 for the United States here. Sparacco makes his way over to the huddle after getting the call from the sideline. At this level, you're not going to have headsets in the helmets, so the quarterback has to jog back and forth after each play. Sparacco takes the snap, hands it off to Martinez up the middle. Martinez picks up a few more here.
Yeah, what we've seen tonight, it seems like the United States, if they're going to find success, their best job thus far has been running the ball behind the big man right in the middle of that line. They'd gotten away from that, trying to incorporate the passing game more, just haven't found success against this defense from Canada around the edge.
And the big man in the middle of that line, also the big men on the outside of that line, Maxim Moore and Aaron Moore, the tackles, really big, strong offensive linemen.
What more could you ask for?
Aaron or Maxim, I would guess. Handoff up the middle to Martinez again. He's going to have the first down and then some. Gets out past the 30 and brought down at the 27-yard line by Cole Theobald.
Yeah, again, that is where the United States found success in the first half, along its scoring drive as well. They got away from it some, but now a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 inside the 30 from the 28.
We check out the replay here. Sparacco hands off once again to Martinez, and it's been all Martinez this drive. Picks up another couple of yards there before being brought down by Corey Fletcher. Who else? Corey Fletcher with just a ton of tackles today for that Canada defense.
Well, and that's not going to be a highlight run or highlight play for anybody involved. Nothing glamorous about the 2 yards, but it is moving in the right direction. United States continues to make it easier on themselves on 2nd down and 3rd down here on this drive.
2nd and 8. Sparacco in the gun. Takes the snap and hands it off to Martinez, who almost breaks the tackle, but he'll still gain another few yards and a manageable 3rd down situation. Justice Cremier made the stop.
Yeah, Kremler from the Mount Douglas Rams, that linebacker, if he doesn't make that stop, that is a 1st down and plenty more, but he makes contact and stops the play right there immediately.
3rd down and 5 after the stop by Kremler. Sparacco working from the gun once again with 2 wideouts to his left, 1 to his right. He takes the snap and hands it off to Martinez, who is going to be close to a 1st down. It'll depend on the spot, but he looks to be just a bit short.
Yeah, Emilio Martinez is a guy we haven't heard from as much tonight, especially here in the 2nd half, but had a great outing in the Jamboree, ran really well.
On 4th and 1, the U.S. will go for it inside the 20.
Yeah, we're talking about the United States declining a chance to tie it on a field goal, a very makeable field goal here, because what they believe they have, and that's a battle they can win more often than not at the line.
Sparacco in the gun. Probably the biggest play of the game so far for the United States.
Play clock's all the way down, and a chance they were trying to draw Canada off sides.
So a delay of game, and now a tough field goal, but also tough to convert on fourth. We'll see what the U.S. goes with here.
And while I mentioned a lot of times you see an offense simply go to the line with no intent of running a play, the United States looked like they lined up with every intention to snap that ball. Frustration by the quarterback, palms in the air. I don't think he believed they got the full play clock, but the play did take a while to unfold, and the United States all of a sudden has had the decision made for them. It'll be about a 40-yard try. Depending on where they spot this, may even be 41 yards.
Hunter Reed to attempt the field goal out of the hold of Kenny Pickett.
United States 0 for 1 today on field goal tries.
And we'll have a timeout called over on the U.S. sideline. And I'd like to take this moment to let you know that today's game is brought to you by St. Vincent Sports Performance, defining sports performance. Also by Stubbs Legendary Barbecue Sauce, made right with all natural gluten-free ingredients. And the Marriott, the official hotel partner of USA Football. So thank you to all the great sponsors making today's game possible. Also to the Strive Network, strivenetwork.tv, and on Twitter at @Strive_network. Getting back to the action here, I'm Sean Lerman alongside Lincoln Rose as we bring you this U.S. national team taking on Canada. Canada with a 10-7 lead right now.
41-yard field goal try into the wind here for the United States to try to tie this ball game after Canada scored earlier this quarter with a field goal of its own.
Snap is good. The hold by Pickett good. The kick is up, and it's no good. Far off to the left and a little short as well. And the U.S. unable to tie it up. So now Canada taking over with 3 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the game. The United States with just one timeout remaining.
United States at the moment, though, has to feel pretty good. They'll get another shot with this football the way their defense has been playing. Canada has struggled to take much time off the clock since back in the first quarter. If Canada is going to put this game away, they need their offense to have one of its better drives of the night right here. And a lot of that is going to involve running the football.
Belfiore under center. Man in motion. Belfiore will hand it off up the middle, and the U.S. makes a stop as half of the defense is there. Under 3 minutes to go in the ball game now. Moxon back into the game for Canada, the standout wide receiver. Canada in no rush, and why would they be?
No, right now they do with the running play have the clock ticking down. The clock, though, all of a sudden will not be as much in their favor if they can't pick up a first down here and have to give it back to the United States with a short field.
Belfiore takes the snap, and it's a pitch to the running back, Akpada. Akpada met in the backfield by a host of U.S. defenders, and a loss of 7 yards on the play.
Yeah, you're just hoping for too much to happen if you're Canada there on a play like that. If you're going to run the ball, you want to attack straight ahead. Instead, they're backing up, and this United States defense, we point out they've only allowed 10. Now Canada's defense has only allowed 7. Both units have been very impressive tonight. The United States defense seems to welcome each of these opportunities in a must-stop scenario.
3rd down and 16, and it's looking increasingly likely that the U.S. will get the ball back with at least a little bit of time and a chance to maybe go ahead in this one and win the game. Belfiore hands it off up the middle and nowhere to go. Back to the original line of scrimmage, so a 5 or 6 yard gain there.
See if the United States uses a timeout, and that appears to be the case, to preserve as much time as possible. 81 seconds remaining in this ball game. Canada is going to have to give it back to the United States.
The U.S. does call a timeout, and we will take that opportunity to thank Gatorade, the G-Series, Prime, Perform, Recover. Also, this game being brought to you by Cutters. No other glove performs like Cutters. And Tyson Fresh Chicken. Serve chicken that's farm fresh. Serve Tyson Chicken. Check them out at Tyson.com. The U.S. will get the ball back with just about a minute to go in all likelihood. There's a minute 20 seconds to go right now as Canada prepares to punt it away.
Just as the United States defense has welcomed the challenge, you'll expect to see Canada's defense come out with a sense of pride here, with a minute 21 separating their team from a victory in this matchup against the United States' U16 national club. Again, United States will now have 3 men back to ensure a return.
It's Garola on the near side, and it'll go to Garola. He'll fumble the return, but he picks it up, and he's going to take off. Garola running side to side, but cuts it up the middle of the field and gets across the 45-yard line. The United States will have a chance in this one to at least tie things up in all likelihood, but a chance to win it as well with just over a minute to go. The U.S. down by 3 with the ball in Canada territory.
A lot of USA fans holding their breath on that return. It looked like he was 1 block away from getting substantial yardage. Just takes 13 seconds off the clock on that punt and return. So, as you noted, 68 seconds left to try to traverse 43 yards. At the very least, get within field goal range. But right now, the United States has their eyes on picking up 6.
And the U.S. is going to have to be very careful with its play calling. No timeouts remaining for the United States ball club. Quarterback in is Sparacco. Running back Martinez. Sparacco takes the snap, looking downfield, airs it out to his left, has a man open, and it's intercepted. Interception made by Team Canada, and that should seal things up.
Well, Canada has reason to celebrate. That should do it, as the United States won't have any way to stop the clock. And each team's defense has shined all night long, and it looks like Canada's defense gets to make the final play of the ball game. I believe that ball stays playable on the receiver for the United States, Jonathan Garola, and before it can hit the turf, it's scooped up by the Canadian defensive back. And that interception to likely clinch this one for Canada is courtesy of Cole Theobald.
What a play by Theobald. Absolutely. What a play on the ball. He looked like he was beat. It looked like it was going to be a big play for USA taking the lead, but instead it's Canada's ball game 10-7, and what a game it was. As time starts to wind down here, Canada will only have to take another knee or two to end this one.
It's appropriate that a big play on defense is what puts an end to this one, the way we saw these two teams battle it out. A classic football matchup, low-scoring affair. United States had a couple of field goal opportunities, neither of them chip shots. Canada makes its one kick that they need, and with just 3 points between these two teams in total in the second half, they fall the way of Canada. And all of a sudden, we head into tonight's game between the U19s, with each nation having won one game thus far.
Which means that this third U19 game is certainly going to be a big one. If it wasn't going to be a big one already, it certainly will now as time winds down and the clock hits 0 here at UT Arlington. So we'll step aside and be right back with the post-game wrap-up after this.
College football stars of tomorrow are being built today thanks to the support of Tyson Fresh Chicken and Stubbs legendary barbecue sauce. Tyson is the presenting sponsor of the USA Football Tailgate Tour, a salute to top high school student athletes selected to play for the U.S. National Football Team. The USA Football National Team program boasts a star-studded list of alumni, including New York Giants running back David Wilson, Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston, Georgia running back Todd Gurley, and Stanford signal caller Kevin Hogan. This fall, the USA Football Tailgate Tour made 14 stops across the country to honor student athletes selected to participate on U.S. national teams. Tour stops featured visits to high school pep rallies, pregame jersey ceremonies, and tailgate parties prior to games, featuring Tyson Fresh Chicken samples prepared with Stubbs' legendary barbecue sauces and marinades.
Oh, very excited.
Yeah,
we are so proud of him.
He's a really hard worker, and everything he does, he goes 100%. And he's also a good kid, a good student, just all around a good. With a tackle for the Highlanders.
Tyson and Stubbs made sure that fans walked away with giveaways, had the chance to enjoy interactive tailgate games, and hosted special meet and greet autograph sessions with current and former NFL players, mascots, and cheerleaders.
This is great atmosphere. I mean, it reminded me back of my high school days, like just reminiscing just at this moment. And I mean, those guys are lucky to be out there, even though I'm in the NFL. That was still one of the funnest football times in my life.
Basically because these guys play their hearts out. You know, I mean, it's big. You know, every kid needs to know that they're doing well. Getting these type of things is like really important, and it's going to propel them, you know, to all types of new heights, new goals. It's like, hey, I really accomplished something, and everybody likes accomplishments.
Each of the high schools involved were honored to have the Tailgate Tour visit their school and were great ambassadors for the Tyson and Stubbs brands.
Well, St. Rita football, we're in our 102nd year. The energy here for football games is always great, but Tyson's Chicken being here tonight added a lot of flavor, and I know everybody enjoyed sampling the chicken, seeing Desmond Clark, Staley. You know, it was a great night, a great addition to the atmosphere.
It was delicious. I tried every flavor barbecue sauce. I'm from Texas, so I like my barbecue. It's nice. It brings more attention to the school, which is ultimately what we want, is to get the word out about Lutheran North.
In total, the Tailgate Tour impacted more than 30,000 high school football fans in 10 markets from September through November, distributing more than 15,000 Tyson Fresh Chicken samples. The Tailgate Tour had its own microsite featuring a tailgate recipe contest, and tour stops were promoted on USAFootball.com as well as other USA Football social media channels, including Facebook and Twitter. Thank you to Tyson Fresh Chicken and Stubbs legendary barbecue sauce for your support of USA Football's national team program and for helping to create lasting memories for these great athletes.
Canada most valuable player is number 7, Jordy Bellafour.
Jordy Bellafour, our player of the game for Team Canada, 8 for 12, over 100 yards for Belfiore, and he had an outstanding game through the touchdown for Canada on their first drive of the game. So congratulations to Jordy for being Canada's player of the game. Certainly played an outstanding one. Canada as a squad played extremely well, did a great job, and you know, both teams should be commended for their efforts, especially on the defensive end.
Will be presented by USA Football Senior Director Nick Inzarello.
And now we'll take a look at the USA player of the game.
And the Team USA Rydell most valuable player is number 26, Emilio Martinez.
So Emilio Martinez comes away with player of the game for the United States, and Martinez had over 80 rushing yards, just really took things over at the end of the game as well, gave the United States a shot to tie things up at the end with a really strong performance on that final drive. And Emilio Martinez, there it is, 15 rushes for 86 yards. He should be commended for his performance. And then Jordy Belfiore, 8 of 12, 108 yards and a touchdown. The players of the game presented to you by Sports Authority. And that'll wrap it up. So thank you to everyone who helped us out with the broadcast of this game. Stick around because we'll have the U19 game up next. I'm Sean Lerman. Thank you to Lincoln Rose, to Tom Monfiletto, Derek Raymond, Nick Panisi, everybody who helped make today's game possible. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Riddell, Sports Authority, Shock Doctor Sports, St. Vincent Sports Performance, Stubbs Legendary Barbecue Sauce, Marriott, Gatorade, Cutters, Tyson Fresh Chicken, and of course USA Football and Upper Deck. So stick around and check out the U19 game up next.